Tim Cotton is a consultant in the footwear industry and founder of Ethical Sourcing Solutions, a supply chain consultancy in the footwear and apparel sector. You work with footwear company Unito to set up new suppliers in China.
My background is entirely in the footwear industry. I've worked there for 30 long years. I originally started off with Peter Black for 15 years. I then went to Pentland for 10 years. I then decided to set up my own consultancy business. The reason for that being that I felt that there was a need for improve the ethical and sustainable side of sourcing.
Adrian Thompson was buying director of Stylo Barrett and worked for Pentland before setting up Unito in 2001. They are middlemen or a fully serviced supplier of shoes to many high street chains and retailing multiples, buying some 2 million pairs of shoes per year and managing the whole process from design to delivery, including sourcing and monitoring quality and timely shipment. They discussed their experience in dealing with shoe manufacturers worldwide and the challenges involved in this process.
Started at a fairly early age working in a shoe shop, which was a great place to start, and I rose through that business up to the buying department. I did that for some 15 years before deciding that I wanted to learn more about the sourcing process, and I joined a very large London company called Pentland. That's where I gained all my overseas sourcing knowledge.
Unito are different because they are very good at following fashion and getting product into retailers very quickly. They react to the fashion trends very well. They have good design.
We create products really by trying to get as close as we can to our customers and understanding their needs and requirements. And if we can meet them, then we've got a better chance than, say, our competitors in this very fierce marketplace. The opportunity to get in front of the retailer and understand their requirements is something that's quite difficult to achieve, unless of course you've got that relationship. That takes years.
I think the most important thing a manufacturer has to offer a company like Unito is an understanding of what the business requirements are, and that comes down a lot to the management. The management have got to show that they are interested and they understand. They put what is required to meet those challenges into practice. The design side is also obviously important, and that comes down to various practical things like how good the sampling is, how well the factory can interpret the designs that are being sent to them.
Product is key, and if you're going to meet the expectations of the customer, you have to get that 100% correct. There isn't any grounds for error. It has to be as required. And often we'll get opportunities or orders or commitments to orders based on approval of product.
If you're going to supply a retailer directly, then that means that you have to have quite a structure. Ideally means that you have someone in the UK who can see the retailer on a regular basis and service them properly. It also depends whether you have the right people, because you can't send anyone to deal with a retailer. They have to be able to establish a relationship. The other alternative is, of course, to work through a middleman like Unito. Now, the good thing about doing it that way is that the customer side of it is taken care of.
I'd like to think that we're a fully serviced supplier. We manage to hopefully meet the requirements of the customer, whatever that might be, taking responsibility for the whole process, from the concept right through to the delivery of the product. And if we can do that successfully, there's no reason why any retailer would want to go directly to the market. I mean, there's obviously advantages probably through price, but not necessarily, because, you know, we're large buyers of product, and by accumulating orders, we're achieving hopefully a volume price and supplying it to many people.
Well, the advice I'd give to a factory who wants to start and establish their business in the UK, they have to decide first of all what they want to do. They can't do everything, they can't supply everyone, they can't do all products. They've got to decide what they're good at, who they want to supply. First samples are very important. It's what can kill a business if they don't get the sampling right at the beginning.
We are a creative company that will allow us to differentiate ourselves from our competitors, give us added value to the retailer, because of course the best will in the world, a buyer, isn't going to be concentrating all of their time and their resources just solely on developing product. We also pride ourselves in creating specific ranges for end use and for end customer, and we try very hard. We work at making sure there's differentiation between products that we develop for A customer and B customer. I think that's key. You can't today sell the same thing to everybody.
If there's no trust there, it's never going to work on the short term or long term. Trust isn't something that comes overnight, but it requires certain ways of working. In particular, the confidentiality of what you're doing and the product that you're doing with a particular customer is absolutely key.
For us, is obviously maintaining exclusivity with the retailer, with the customer in the UK, but that has to happen at the factory end too. And for that reason, we tend to try and work with fewer people in a more meaningful way. Our designs and business is confidentially treated by the Chinese manufacturers. That is also key, because we can't have a situation where we would be working with a factory and they would be supplying 3 of our competitors. That clearly wouldn't work. We encourage and foster relationships with our factories so that they more understand our requirements, and encourage them to come over and visit us regularly and learn about our marketplace. The more understanding that I think you can have, the better chance you've got of executing it. So for me, it would be about building relationships together to see things through the same eyes.